Welcome back. We're going to continue on with the Andrew Tate video. This one is going to be more about what's happened to him. He's been excommunicated from a lot of social media in the past. He's back on Twitter, now X, and we're going to kind of hear his argument as to how horrific that is, and we're going to listen to a few others about how not great that is. And how that doesn't accomplish anything and is actually it's bad. It's bad. Taking people off of social media out of the public square when you're condemning them so that they can't defend themselves is not good. And I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody who says otherwise. I don't think we should eliminate anybody from social media. But anyway, let's listen to this. It's a 22-second clip. Andrew Tate. Who is Andrew Tate? Banned by every platform in the world, but not us. We'll talk to him Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox News Channel. Okay, and this is a clip from that. Let's hear what Andrew Tate has to say about being banned on every platform in the world.
But when they go to cancel you, ladies and gentlemen, it comes hard and fast. You lose your Facebook, then your Instagram, then your Gmail, then your Discord, then your website hosting, then your domain name, then your payment processor, then your bank. Then it's just like in real time, you're watching your phone and apps just exploding. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. So you may think, well, why is this a big deal? Like, he's a millionaire, he can take care of himself. Why is he complaining? Well, this happens to a lot of people. 3,000 plus people were arrested in the UK for what they said on social media. I believe 2 years ago. I shudder to think what it is now. What you do online affects you in real life in very significant ways. There was this one woman who claimed to be part of a certain National Socialistic Party, and she just, on her own private posts said that, and got locked out of her bank account, got locked out of her, got fired from her work, basically lost everything and lost recourse to complain about it on social media. Now, obviously, to support a certain party, a certain National Socialist Party, is not good. However, for a bank that has agreed to hold your money and then give it back to you as an investment or whatever else it is, for them to say, no, we're not going to do that, we're not going to hold up our end of the bargain because you're an immoral person, man, that is dangerous. And for governments to say, oh, we're going to come knock down your door because of what you posted online, especially in America, where we have a First Amendment, when you can lose your job over this, that's a different thing. But man, you can basically be eliminated. No matter if you have a huge platform like Andrew Tate, it doesn't hit you so hard. But when you have nothing and then you lose everything, it's really bad. And who's to say, next week the same bank that didn't serve the National Socialists doesn't serve Republicans or doesn't serve Democrats or any of these things, just because they say, well, that's immoral and we're not going to do that. For something you posted online, in your private chat, or even on public, like expressing a public view that prevents you from using your money in the ways that you want to. That's dystopian. And this happened to Andrew Tate. Okay, so he's accused of all these things. They're many, they're varying. It's a lot of things that he's accused of. And then he gets kicked off of platforms. And you're like, well, I keep seeing his videos. Well, yeah, but that's not from his channel. That's from other people's channels, and that's from people uploading his videos that he's done on other things. Now he's back on Twitter, obviously, so that's not as huge of a problem for him. But anyway, I think that's some perspective. Like he lost his recourse to complain publicly or to to face his accusers, because his accusers are all online, all on social media, and then Facebook, Instagram, all these places take him down, and he has no recourse. That's not just. I don't care how evil you think this dude is. That's not just, and that's not biblical. If you want to hear his whole thing, you can watch episode 9 of the Tucker Carlson show. I don't really know what else to call it. The Andrew Tate interview. It's 2.5 hours, so pretty, obvious why we're not going to watch through that. You can hear his argument for himself against his accusers, and it's a lengthy one. It's a good one. You can hear his opinions on other things as well. And I just want to pull up this video, or this meme. Regardless of your opinion on Andrew Tate, the establishment banning him to make boys not listen to him created a response of epic proportions. We have to ban Andrew Tate so boys won't listen to him. Boys listening to Tate because he's banned, and that's true. That happens because you're basically proving his point about the Matrix, and we're gonna get into that. First of all, I wouldn't use the language of Matrix. I'm just using it now because he does. For the sake of this video, for the sake of clarity, we're gonna listen to these guys. The digital execution of Andrew Tate. They're basically saying the same thing that I did, just probably in a better way. I encourage you to go listen to them. A lot of things that they have are good. They're not Christian. They're conservative in their outlook. They're definitely not progressives. They have a few wacky views, a few more wacky commentators. This is Carl, and this is Callum for the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, and we're just going to listen to them for a few minutes and kind of comment on what they're going off of. But let's play it.
Oh yeah. I mean, anyone over the age of 30 is definitely reading that going, yeah.
So the main concern, of course, is that Andrew Tate is influencing young men, Callum, young men like you, in fact.
No. Well, no, he didn't, because I blocked all his bot accounts.
Teachers are being urged to listen to what children are talking about in school corridors.
Here we go.
Be aware of such terms as manosphere to counter sexist social media trends which pupils may have been exposed to over the summer holidays. Right. So if we can't brainwash them in the schools, they might think for themselves. They might see things on the internet that we don't agree with.
Right. And so schools, what these teachers are basically saying, or what these writers are basically saying, I should say, is that the function of schools is not to educate your children. It's to align them with an approved set of opinions and to shield them from everything else. And so it's gotten to the point where teachers are actively called on to spy on their kids in the hallways after summer break because they might have been exposed to ultra masculinity, ultra misogyny, and all of these things. And it just betrays the whole idea of what a teacher should be. And another reason for you to get your kids out of public school if they are in there, or to seriously consider that. Okay.
This is the crux of this entire issue, right?
Yeah, but it's also very revealing of the school system.
Yes.
Just openly telling us our job is actually to indoctrinate your child
Yes.
into thinking a certain way, not to provide a service.
That is precisely it. We're not educating them, we are literally brainwashing them. School professionals and child safety charities, I am very trusting of these organizations, have voiced concerns of videos of misogynistic content creator Andrew Tate have been viewed by millions of social media users over the 6-week break. In one video, which he was interviewed by another YouTuber, he said he was absolutely a misogynist. Adding, I'm a realist, but when you're a realist, you're a sexist. There's no way you can't be rooted in reality and not be a sexist. You can see how the feminists are like, well, hang on a second. That's true.
Men and women are different.
Yeah.
Right.
In the same video, he called women intrinsically lazy and said there was no such thing as an independent female.
See, I mean, there you go. There's some more like character assessments rather than biological aspects, but...
UK charity Hope Not Hate recently launched a...
Okay, so there's a controversial take, intrinsically lazy, and this is where we're going to start to see Andrew Tate's rather not so great opinions. And other people have really emphasized this, so I want to get to the things that maybe are more significant than just him calling women intrinsically lazy, because that's, compared to other things that he says, that's just light. But he does. He says things like that, and it's not good. But the people who call him out on the left are the same people who write articles about teachers stopping your kids from having opinions on things that they read or listen to. So it, not great. Let's zoom ahead a little bit. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for. Where is it? Ah, here we go. So they're talking about all the sites that he's been banned from. And we're going to pick it up. Is this the right spot? I think so. Sorry. They get into hope, not hate. Yeah, so they banned him from TikTok, Facebook, all of these places. YouTube bans him.
I mean, if you could say this, policy, this video, there you are. That's
Twitch
fine.
eventually
at least everyone
bans
can
him.
understand. Okay, you're at least enforcing some rules. But when
Yes.
there is just no rule of law on the internet for who should be allowed to have access,
Extremism. Andrew Tate far right? Does he even have politics?
should be allowed to have access to the entire world.
Yeah.
And well, it's decided by, as you say, a handful of people.
Yeah.
Every single time.
A handful of progressive bigots in Silicon Valley who can't take a joke, basically. Hope Not Hate, a group based in Britain that organises against far-right extremism. Is Andrew Tate far right? Does he even have politics?
Is being misogynist, is that inherently far right?
I don't know.
I don't think it is, actually.
No, but anyway, they launched a petition in August calling for him to be banned from major social networks, and so everyone was like, yeah, okay, good idea. Brilliant. Twitch, he did have a Twitch account, as you can see in the headline of this. Oh, but that apparently has been closed by the user. So, okay. Don't know why he'd do that. His last method of speaking to the world, he just closed it himself. I know nothing more to think about, I guess. So he's reduced to having a BitChute channel now.
That's where he is.
Which is
Yep, as
not
far as I can tell.
real. I
That's
don't
all I
think
could
it's
really
real.
find. If you can scroll down a bit, just so you can see the number of subscribers. He's got like 50 subscribers on it or something.
This is the official one.
As far as I can tell, I don't know. I mean, it might not be, but it links to his website, so I assume so, which he still has for now. And so you get, deplatforming works from Hope Not Hate. So see if we just digitally execute all of these people, then they're gone. It's like, well, that is true, but that's also the same logic that the Nazis used about, people they didn't like,
Yeah.
undesirables.
Or the Taliban do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Which you think are terrible.
They posted a thing to their Facebook being like, yay, isn't this great? TikTok has joined Facebook and Instagram and Twitter in permanently banning accounts run by Andrew Tate.
Celebrated
This is
digital
some sort of
execution.
victory because Tate is a violent misogynist with links to the organised far right.
The organised far right. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, but none of that sentence makes sense.
No.
I mean, in the UK, what have you got if you actually wanted to say the far right? I mean, maybe National Action, which are banned.
Yeah, there's not much of a right in England, much less a far right.
Yeah, they're illegal.
Yeah, it's a terrorist group because they made a tweet celebrating killing an MP. I was like, right, if that's how organised the far right gets, which is the banned group that made a tweet.
Well, you understand he is creating a dangerous slip road to the far right and poses a genuine threat to the young men and boys he targets.
Yeah, I forgot. Did you go to the march yesterday? It was a huge march in London of Misogynists Unite.
Yeah, I did. I couldn't make it, unfortunately.
Yeah, Andrew Tate was leading it.
Yeah, I was too busy oppressing my wife.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the point is, though, of course, we've not heard from anyone on Andrew Tate's side from this. Because
Okay,
that's
so
what
then they
happens.
listen to this lady, but I'm going to skip through that.
Been disloyal to women, or how he's well, it's his own words. Like
It's
this,
all mouth.
but that's the
It's
thing.
a front.
Like if it's all a front, then he's purposely giving off him being an asshole as well.
Yes. I think it's a selling technique. I think it's
Sure.
a big front. I think he's basically all mouth. And I think that,
Yeah, I kind of agree. Kind of. There's a lot of things that we're going to explore about Andrew Tate, and I have my own opinions about his charismatic style. I think his style is intentional. Whenever you meet somebody who is as forceful all of the time as Andrew Tate, who has the persona of always in an antagonistic stance to whoever he's talking about, that's a defensive style. That's a rhetorical defensive style. It's really hard to have a conversation with somebody like that, and I don't envy the people who try to interview him and go about that. So this is a valid point by Carl.
it's just nonsense. Like this, the idea that this guy was gonna lead some sort of incel uprising or something.
Yeah, it's obviously
It's
insane.
just stupid. And so someone who in essentially kind of a clown in many ways. You know, he says funny things that are transgressive against feminism, but that's, you know, a natural sort of realignment mechanism when the narrative is all on one side. But again, you know, and so if you meet an actual woman, it's like, well, he's always a gentleman. Okay, he's a simp, right? Got it. Like, okay, you know, mystique broken. I don't know why, but they buy into this, and now they've destroyed him. It's like, okay, but I just hate seeing the vulgar exercise of power in this way. He's got no recourse. He can't defend himself now. He can't come out and clear his own name. He can't speak to the world and say, well, look, they're saying this, but I'm saying that, and so therefore make your decision. It has to be some other just random woman being like, no, he's actually a really nice guy. He's always been a gentleman. Don't know what you're talking about. You know, and it's like, okay, well, it's just gross.
Yeah.
Gross to watch. Remember, it could be you tomorrow. So
There's no security for anyone online
no.
when this sort of stuff happens.
No.
And even if you don't like
Right, exactly. So there's no security in anything. Like, if you put an opinion out in the world, there's a chance that you could be canceled and digitally executed for it. Canceling, all that it is, it's a fancy word for the attempt of digital execution. That's all it is. Or sometimes, if it's doxing, the attempt of real life execution of you and everybody you love. And it's serious, and it needs to, people need to wake up to this, to the reality of it. Because you hear about the Andrew Tate situations, but what you don't hear about all the other cases. And it's not good, and it happens more often than you think. And tomorrow, if you're like, oh well, Andrew Tate deserved it, well, it could be you for some opinion that a small group of people didn't agree with and took to the streets, the digital streets, to digitally execute you. And now you can't work, and now you can't open your bank account because of some thing that you put online that was interpreted as far right. Welcome to the new age. And that's real. That this thing happened. Like, this thing happens all of the time. It's not something that's uncommon, and it's not something that's up to speculation, and it's not a conspiracy theory. This happened. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna move on to another video. This guy has just taken up this amount of time, from like 2:44 to 8 minutes in, to talk about what's, you know, the video evidence of Andrew Tate kind of saying, hey, I did some really bad things. If you want to listen to that, you can. We're going to get into that up here, and I'm going to just speak my own opinions. But I want to play this guy because I really think a lot of people take this guy's kind of stance, both who are on the left and on the right, in the middle. Even Christians kind of take this position where they're like, Andrew Tate, bad guy. Why would you ever listen to him or agree with anything that he says? And that's just unhelpful completely, even if everything that he said over here is true. It's unhelpful. So let's just play him, and we'll comment on it as it goes. I don't disagree with maybe his reaction. I disagree with the way he's going about it in many ways. So let's play.
So the manipulation involves Vivian. Aside from Andrew Tate's ultra masculinity, let's just call it that, because I think it's just sick, to be honest.
Okay. Framing this as ultra masculinity, that's just sick, to be honest with you. Okay, what is it? Because all that people have been talking about are it's his immorality and his misogyny. So, to be an ultra masculine male, does that mean you have to be ultra misogynistic? And if being ultra male is to be ultra misogynistic, is being masculine being misogynistic? Just not ultra misogynistic? You see the problem with the framing? And this guy's a lawyer, by the way, so I kind of hold him to a high standard here.
He has a penchant for younger girls.
When you run game like me and meet the women who I meet beautiful virgins. I'll do 2 or 3 virgins a year. A virgin when you're an ice cold player. There is a tactic.
When we look at
Okay, pause. Where did that come from? His ultra masculinity is just sickening. And then to say that, well, yeah, he said that, but why did you tie that in with ultra masculinity? How does that flow? Is that because Tate says you should be masculine, or is that because he's an immoral person? You need to distinguish those, because you're not winning anybody over to your side who's on his side when you're saying these things. It's manipulative language. Interestingly, that's the title of this, and he's talking about manipulation on Andrew Tate's part. But let's continue.
What they're doing, you know, they're on this media blitz. They've hired this human rights lawyer. They've come out with these tweets that are very selective in the text logs that they've shown. And it's pretty clear that these two girls are trying to get out of the situation and having to act while they're.
You can make up your own mind on that. Don't really know why my screen went black there, but you can make your own mind. Make up your own mind on that. We're going to get into that again up here a bit. He does a more, perhaps thorough job, even if a more opinionated job here.
The situation. And then from what you've seen with Vivian is clearly in on the trafficking. If you remember Jeffrey Epstein.
Maybe. That's not as clear. That's a bit more speculation. But again, that's commenting on something that I haven't shown, so it doesn't really matter.
It's really similar to what Ghislaine Maxwell was doing, because the girls feel comfortable around other girls, right? And it doesn't seem as threatening. We're gonna post this. This was originally.
Okay, that's a huge accusation against the girl called Vivian. Yeah, that's a huge accusation, and just for the record, I don't agree with that, framing it that way, at least not with what I know now. But let's continue. This is where it gets interesting.
We got this from the Crab Man and a couple other places. But look what they're doing. I mean, mostly Eastern European young women who don't have anything and glob onto what they believe is opportunity are used and abused and served like hell. And I know you guys get out of this, guys.
Okay, that is true. Okay, that's valid. I agree with that. Andrew Tate is using, or has used, vulnerable women to grow his empire, and he's basically admitted to that, and we're going to get into that. This guy's trying to convince people not to follow Andrew Tate. That's great. What he just said, that's fine.
Psyche, he's got absolutely nothing for you. Now here's the thing, am I biased against him? I kind of am, and I'm going to tell you that straight away.
That's great. He's not a client, you're not in a courtroom. If you have your own bias, just go ahead and admit it. Props to that guy for saying that he's got a bias. I kind of do too now, but I want to be fair to all sides.
But for anybody to say they don't have anything against them, they don't have anything, they do. They have a treasure trove.
They do. They have a treasure trove. Yeah, he's right. They do. Whether you can prove the trafficking charges, again, he hasn't been convicted. So before you he's a trafficker, just stop. The legal, when this first came out, I think Tucker Carlson talks about it in his interview, but the definition of human trafficking, right, per the government, the federal government, is to say manipulating vulnerable people emotionally to get money from them. Basically, that's it, and that's trafficking. That so much, you could convict a lot of people for a lot of things out of that. If they have any, if a store owner has any relationship with any of his employees on hey, how are you doing today? How's it going? Sorry to hear about, this situation in your life, or really glad to hear about that situation in your life. And, that employer is paying them, could that not fall? Could you not make a case for trafficking based on that? Because he's emotionally involved in their lives and he's paying them a paycheck, and who's to say that he's not manipulating them so that they're okay with less money than they actually deserve? It's not a very good definition, but it depends on what kind of legal definition of trafficking you have. And again, he has not been convicted of that yet. However, he has admitted to a lot of things that we as Christians need to pay attention to. Yes, admitting that, yeah, he's not been convicted of anything. And we want to not cancel him. We want to not digitally execute him. But we as Christians need to be informed about these things so we can actually say, hey, this is where we're at, and this is where we differentiate from these people, and this is where we align with these people. And that's the point of this video, or all 3 videos, I guess, now, that I'm going to have to make. But let's continue.
They have a lot. And these girls, I mean, what you saw posted by one of Andrew Tate's cronies was cut and paste job. And it was just to try to make, a public relations campaign. I'm going to show you one more thing. I think it's just absolutely hilarious.
This is stunning. No, it's not hilarious. This is stunning.
This is a little video we came across. In fact, I was on this guy's show last week. But this is Andrew Tate's lawyer talking about the Matrix.
When your client was arrested, he said very...
Okay, I'm taking this lawyer's word, this guy Bruce Rivers, that this guy is Andrew Tate's lawyer, that this is a real interview that actually happened. So I'm taking that as a given.
Enigmatically, the Matrix has sent their agents to get me. The Matrix...
That's true.
See, you fucking laugh
He
because
did
it's
say
bullshit.
that.
The
Ugh.
Matrix? You know why? Because the
Okay, this is where you lost all credibility with the people you were talking. You were trying to convince not to follow Andrew Tate.
no Matrix. There is, I mean, it's a way to really deflect from your own responsibility of what's going on. Because you got a lot of followers, right? You got a lot of guys, who's sitting there with Hustler University, or Hustler Worldwide, wherever the fuck he calls it now, sitting in their mother's basement eating Cheetos and staining their underpants, jerking off to this guy. Here's the thing. There is no Matrix.
Okay, this guy just lost all professional style, whatever you want to call it. Professionalism, he's lost it. He's just lost his mind. Wow. So first of all, you haven't defined what you mean by Matrix. If you mean like Matrix as in the movie Matrix, well, of course there's not a Matrix. It's ridiculous to think that. But even as a lawyer, you want to be like, okay, well, let's make sure we got the right definition for that. Let's make sure we understand his position, and that's what this lawyer should be doing right now, but he's not.
And even his lawyer thinks it's stupid.
Can you explain what he means by that?
I also don't know. I heard the story of Matrix, but I don't know. I have a serious profession, and I didn't ask my client about this Matrix story because I think that is about something on media platforms or internet platforms.
Oh my gosh, what a miserable lawyer. I don't know how they hired him or how they kept him after this, or I don't know where this guy's coming from. Okay, your client has been arrested. Your client says, this is why I've been arrested. The agents of the Matrix have come after me. And your response to that is to say, well, because I'm serious and professional, I'm not going to ask my client about why he says he's been arrested. That's stupid. That is the worst. This is one of the worst lawyers I think I've ever seen. Just absolutely ridiculous. Amber Heard lawyers level of stupid. Gosh. Again, this guy didn't ask for a definition of the Matrix. This guy didn't ask for a definition of the Matrix.
And I don't know about this story with my...
Your Honor,
You don't know because you didn't ask.
we would like to file a motion and have the Matrix barred from this courtroom.
No, the Matrix never entered this courtroom because you didn't defend your client. The other lawyer never defended his client, and you never picked up on the fact that that lawyer was just ridiculous.
What would they do? There's no fucking Matrix.
Language.
He thinks there is a global system that includes
Ooh, a
big
definition.
governments and so on.
He's a better lawyer.
He's trying to control and inhibit the way pretty much everyone lives, and that he has been targeted by them. Some people might even call it the deep state, if you like.
Ooh.
He has been targeted by them because he is trying to emancipate.
Give me a fucking break.
Young men.
All he's doing is taking your money and manipulating you.
Okay, that part is true. If you're watching Andrew Tate in his style, all he's doing is taking your money, and it's likely that he's intentionally manipulating you. It's likely, due to the stuff we're going to talk about later. But that's an assumption, right? I should hold up on the manipulation stuff. To say that all the videos that he posts online, to say that that's all manipulation is disingenuous. And again, let's just finish out the video before I finish commenting on this.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're ridiculous. Sorry.
I don't believe that, and I think that if
Okay, Matrix guys, and I know you're out there, and I'm
Well, here's his appeal to everybody who's out there who might think, oh, you know when Andrew Tate got kicked off of those social media platforms and got his bank account removed and all of these different things, yeah, this is his appeal to those people who look at that and say, huh, I think he's got a point about what he calls the Matrix. You know, I might call it the deep state or something else, but I think he's got a point. This is Bruce Rivers' appeal to those people.
probably gonna get all these bot messages. There's like 4,500 bot messages that just went out not that long ago. His own lawyer doesn't believe there's a fucking Matrix. Okay?
Because he's a terrible lawyer. He didn't even ask his client about what his client meant by the reason he was arrested. That's ridiculous. And then just to dismiss the idea that, oh, the digital execution, the canceling that went on wasn't, you know, my gosh. If anything, you know, go read the Twitter files, because the Twitter files are pretty clear that governments paid social media platforms to remove people from their platforms. That's happened. And then just to say, oh, well, everybody who holds this opinion has got to be a bot, because even Andrew Tate's lawyer doesn't believe in a Matrix. Well, again, his lawyer sucks. It's a straw man. Yeah.
His own lawyer. His own lawyer.
talking about my client beliefs, you should ask him at the proper time about this matter.
My gosh.
That's something you don't do. You don't say, go talk to my client. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Okay, that's a good point. You don't say, as a lawyer, go talk to my client. You don't say that. You should never have a reason for saying that. But again, this guy's picked up on that, but he hasn't picked up on the fact that this guy should have done a lot more than he did for Andrew Tate and actually asking serious questions. It's ridiculous.
This matter, it doesn't have to do anything with my activity as lawyer.
Well, yeah, it does. It really does, because you're defending your client, and your client said Andrew Tate said, the agents of the Matrix have come to get me, and then you just completely deny it and don't even ask him what he means by that. Ridiculous. Awful lawyer. I don't know much about this guy. I understand his passion, especially with all the things that he's talked about. You can see over here he's done many other videos on the Tate brothers. And Crabman, honestly, he has this kind of major bias against the Tates because he knows so much, and that's why I thought it was important to make this video. I really want to make a case for both sides, and I want to, if this was all that you knew, and you didn't know this part, or if you didn't know all the things that we're going to talk about up here, you would assume, well, it's just these people are in cahoots, they're in on the Matrix, deep state, whatever you want. They don't believe it. Andrew Tate's right. He's trying to save society, civilization, trying to save masculine men. All of these people are against them. They define masculinity as misogyny. All of these different things. I understand that. I really do. I understand why people would look at things like this and go, well, that's just stupid. How could you make arguments like that? I understand it. And yet, we as Christians, we need to understand wisely how to go about dealing with things like this in the world, how to think about people, how to think about ideologies, how to sort through what's good and evil in the world, how to, again, Romans 12, 1 to 2, how to discern the will of God, what is perfect, pleasing, good. And we need to be serious about doing that. And it's going to be hard. And it's not going to be easy. And you're going to have to watch videos where people drop the F-bomb all the time. And that's the situation I find myself in. And it's not an easy situation to be in. And it's complicated. But we got to do it all the same as Christians. And so hopefully these two videos have helped you up to this point. They've been extremely long. But I hope up to this point I've kind of explained, like my reasoning for seeing that you can support Andrew Tate. Like, he does say some good things that are true, some true things, and he's been persecuted for what he said in a way that's very public, that's removed his ability to fire back against his critics until Elon bought Twitter and reinstated him and converted it into X. And yeah, that's not good. And I think at this point we can say that the response to Andrew Tate has not been good by the wider culture, by social media platforms. It hasn't. And people like this, you know, they do good research. They have some good opinions. I'll give Bruce Rivers that. But he's not helpful in convincing people that he's not objective enough. You know, it would be better just to ignore his claims about the Matrix and the deep state if you don't believe that, and just focus on what he actually said. Just do that as a lawyer. Like, that's your role anyway. Actually focus on the facts, objective reality. That's what you'd have to do in the courtroom. Do it here. And that's the same with a lot of these YouTube lawyers. Like, there's Legal Eagle. He does this kind of thing a lot. And there are others as well. They're just not very good. And I say that from an armchair, being a non-lawyer. But, you know, I've watched lawyer shows before. That's a joke, by the way. But we're gonna end this video here. The next video, we're gonna get into the more serious, I'll call them allegations, just because they're in video form. But they are Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate themselves talking about what they're doing. We're gonna talk about that next time. I hope you've found these videos useful, if not enjoyable. And we will see you in, well, I will see you in the next video. Bye.